Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. I got an interesting story here. Brian Fisher is my name, Focal Point's the program. Here's a story. You know, one of the things we've talked about with women in the military, let alone women in combat, but women in combat, according to this study, it's on the Washington Free Beacon, piece by Adam Credo. Women, and the title of the piece is Women in Combat Could Hurt Retention. Remember, there are three things that you need to worry about when it comes to the military. You need to worry about recruitment. You need to be concerned about retention, and you need to be concerned about readiness. Recruitment is getting a highly qualified military force. Retention is keeping the people that you've trained, that you have invested in, that have served capably. You want to hang on to them because they've proven themselves in their time in the service. So you don't want to lose them. You don't want them in for 4 years and then gone. You want to keep people in. Good soldiers want to keep them in for a career. And you also have to be concerned about military readiness. Now, it's our contention that gays in the military and women in combat, I believe, virtually most women in positions of where they're actually involved in military operations, if it's not in a support capacity, I think is going to be bad for capability. It's going to be bad for readiness. But you get them into frontline combat positions, which the military is getting ready to do, it's going to be lethal for military readiness. Now, this article says, and I haven't even read it, I'm just going to read it kind of with you here, but it indicates that women in combat, putting women in combat could have a deleterious effect on retention. In other words, fewer people are going to decide to stay in. This is with the Marines. Fewer Marines are going to decide to re-up if there are women in combat. Here's how that piece begins. Nearly 1 in 4 males, listen to this. Listen to this. I'm just finding this out right along with you. This is a staggering piece of information. Nearly 1 in 4 males in the United States Marine Corps said they would leave the service if women were involuntarily posted in combat positions, according to the executive summary of a little-known survey commissioned by Marine Corps leaders and obtained by the Free Beacon. That's the Washington Free Beacon. A similar number of Marines of both sexes said they would not have enlisted in the Corps if this had been policy at the time. So the guys are saying, look, if I'd known that women were going to be assigned to combat, I wouldn't have signed up in the first place. And women are saying the same thing, because where we're headed is women being involuntarily assigned to combat. They're not going to have a choice in it. A male soldier, he goes where he's sent. We need you in the infantry. We need you at the point of the spear. You go. You just say, yes, sir. You lace up your boots and you go. Now, by opening all of the combat positions to women now, you cannot keep that from happening to female Marines. If you're going to be fair, they've got to be assigned whether they want to go into combat or not. They got to be assigned to it. And these female Marines said, look, if I'd known that was going to happen, I wouldn't have enlisted in the first place either, because I do not want to enter into combat. I don't believe that I would be effective in combat. I don't have the physical strength. I don't have the upper body strength. God didn't build me with a skeletal structure and a muscular structure that's capable of the demands of infantry warfare. I can't do it. I would be a positive drag on the military effort if I was put in that place. I can't carry the packs that men can carry. I can't drag a wounded soldier out of battle. I can't carry one off the field of battle. It'd be, and women just do not want to go into combat. They just don't want to do it. That's not why they went into the military, to get shot up on the front lines. That's not what drew them into the field of battle. So this is, this is amazing. 23% of both male and female Marines, quote, said they would not have joined if women were involuntarily placed under the front lines of combat, such as the infantry. Retention rates also could be affected at a time when the Marines are shrinking the force to cope with budgetary constraints. 22% of males who were surveyed said they, quote, likely would leave the Corps at their next opportunity, end quote, if women were involuntarily placed into primary combat roles. We saw this, we had call after call after call when the Congress was considering repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We had call after call. We have a lot of listeners in this audience that are military families. And we had call after call. Look, if this goes through, if they allow open homosexuality in the military, I am not going to re-up. and I'm not going to encourage my son to enlist in the first place. We're a military family. We've had members of our family in the military for 4 generations. That comes to an end if we have homosexuality in the military. Now, on top of that, we've got women in combat, and nearly 25% of the Marines are saying, look, I'm not going to re-up. First chance to get out of here, I'm getting out of here. The first opportunity I get, I'm blowing this pop stand. So, if somebody had set out to decimate our military, they wanted to destroy it. They wanted to weaken it. They wanted to incapacitate our military. This is exactly how you would do it. President Obama is following a destroy the military schema to the T. You couldn't draw it up any better. And I got to believe it's deliberate. President Obama does not like our military. He detests the military. The feeling is actually mutual. And I believe he wants to destroy the military because it represents this colonial force that he despises. He believes that America is a racist nation. He believes that we have colonized the world. He can't point to a single example where we've done that, but he believes that that's what we've done. And his father nurtured in him a hatred for white colonial powers like the United Kingdom. And he's got that. And the military, that's how you do it. If you're going to extend your colonial power, you're going to do it through the military. So he despises the military as the tool or the agency of this white colonialism, this white supremacy, this white racism, this white dominance that he sees as the fundamental problem with America since its beginning. So he is systematically going about destroying the military, and women in combat, involuntarily placed in combat. That's going to be another nail in the coffin. Let's pick up a call from Yeoman in western Iowa. Yeoman, thanks for calling. Thanks for waiting. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian, just a rhetorical question and then a point to make. Number one, understand I in no way condone what Dorner did out there in California. But does your call for reasonable discussion on the abortion issue also apply to someone like him, or are we just going to give him a show trial and hang him from the highest tree?
Oh, no, due process. But nobody doubts that he did this thing. Now, obviously he's got to get a fair trial. His guilt has got to be proven in open court. He has to have the opportunity to face his accusers. The evidence has to be presented. He has to be judged by a jury of his peers. He has to have access to legal counsel. But do you doubt that he did it?
Well, let me ask you this question.
No, let me ask you this question. Do you doubt that he did it?
Wasn't there, don't have a clue, but let me say.
Well, no. So are you saying that you doubt that he did it? Wait, Yeoman, hold it. Do you doubt that he did this? Do you think he didn't do this? It was somebody else.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But here's my point. LAPD, if you listen to their radio transmissions, their mind was made up. They were going to burn him out. What happened?
Yeoman, he was shooting at them. He was shooting at them, Yeoman.
But
where's your head at, man?
Sir,
this guy had killed 4 people, including one of the cops that was trying to peacefully take him into custody, and he shot one of them to death. If he'd been willing to go into custody peacefully, none of this would have happened. He wouldn't have burned himself to a crisp or been burned to a crisp. Anyway, got to go. Focal Point AFR Talk, back in 2.